I am back with another video with new stories, mainly from Ethiopia. Firstly, we have a new story about Ethiopian Orthodox Church Patriarch Abune Mathias, who is going to depart Ethiopia. Today, a statement was released from the church. Question is, will he return or not? Why is he departing Ethiopia? A few days ago in a video we discussed his likely foreign travel. We know that Abune Mathias, the Patriarch, is not on good terms with Ethiopian PM Abiy. Second news story is from Himora town, western Tigray, and here in recent days, several small-scale attacks have been carried out by Tigray fighters. It is being confirmed by some sources on the ground that TDF's attacks close to Himora have intensified. Thirdly, we have a new story about a hunger strike started by some Amhara activists in London. It was started 3 days ago. How is it going? Who is there? Who is the main activist there on hunger strike in London? Fourthly, today Amhara diaspora community held coordinated demonstrations in several countries of Europe. In Israel as well, a protest was held. A coordinated campaign was seen today for the first time in months that Tigrayans have held demonstrations. And lastly, we have a clip for you from Paris, where Ukrainian refugees have arrived. How are Ukrainian refugees being treated, and how are other refugees treated in Paris? We have a clip for you. Some Ethiopian activists, they went to the place where Ukrainian refugees are being kept. They protested there as well. We have this clip for you. Firstly, viewers, Abune Mathias is Ethiopian Orthodox Church Patriarch. He was elected in 2013. He is a Tigrayan, and it is said that he is not on good terms with Ethiopian PM Abiy because in a video, a leaked video which was released last year, he was heard saying that genocide of Tigrayans was being committed. And it is said that he is not allowed to speak freely because church is dominated by pro-federal government elements. But he feels for Tigrayans, and he attended the funeral ceremony of a Tigrayan general, Vadi Nacho, who died in custody a few months ago. He was laid to rest in Addis Ababa, Ethiopian capital, and Abune Mathias attended the funeral ceremony of Vadi Nacho. During the funeral ceremony, we know that slogans were chanted that Tigray will prevail, and after that, government launched a crackdown against those who attended the funeral ceremony of General Vadi Nacho. Abune Mathias is due to depart Ethiopia. Today, a statement was released by Ethiopian Orthodox Church. It is said that Abune Mathias is going to depart Ethiopia for medical checkup. He is not feeling well. He is in need of medical treatment. That is why he is leaving Ethiopia. I think he'll travel to the US. It's not his first medical visit. He has gone on medical visits in the past as well. But a few days ago, some Ethiopian pro-government activists claimed that a meeting had been held, chaired by Ethiopian PM Abiy, and he said that Abune Mathias was going to leave Ethiopia and new patriarch would be appointed. We heard that a few days ago. Now, Abune Mathias has announced that he is leaving Ethiopia. Will he return or not? That is the question. It is being said by church authorities that he will return in less than a month. So we'll have to wait and see, will he return to Ethiopia or not? And who will he meet in the US? Will he meet some Tigrayan activists, TPLF leaders there? That remains to be seen. We know that when EPRDF government came to power, it removed the Patriarch of Orthodox Church in 1991. Saint Mercurius was the Patriarch back then. He had to flee Ethiopia, and Saint Paulos was elected in Ethiopia as the new Patriarch, backed by EPRDF government. So Saint Mercurius was leading church in diaspora, and Saint Paulos was in Ethiopia. But in 2018, after PM Abiy came to office, Saint Mercurius, who was in exile, he returned to Ethiopia. He died a few weeks ago. So now question is, will Abune Mathias return to Ethiopia or not? Some pro-government activists claim that he is not good terms with Ethiopian PM Abiy, and the government would not want Abune Mathias to return to Ethiopia. These are all speculations, rumors. His medical visit was due. It's not a new thing. He's been visiting the US in the past as well for medical visits. So he could return. Let's see, we'll have to wait for a month. Only confirmation is that it has been officially announced that he is departing Ethiopia. Secondly, we have a new story from Western Tigray, Himora Volkai Saga. The people say, Sajid, don't call it Western Tigray, it's part of Amhara region. I don't pass a decision. I am not in a position to pass a decision that Western Tigray is part of Tigray or Amhara. I call it Western Tigray because it was part of Tigray before the start of Tigray conflict. That is why. Here we have learnt that Tigray fighters have carried out several attacks in recent days close to Himora. Himora is a key town on Ethiopia-Sudan border in this zone, western part, and it is under the control of Ethiopian National Defense Force. There could be deployment of Amhara Special Force as well. Eritreans were deployed to Himora. We saw pictures of Eritrean military in Himora a few months ago. And we know that talks are about to start. Tigray is threatening that if government did not peacefully gave Western Tigray back to Tigray government, Tigray will launch a military offensive. So tensions are there. Meanwhile, Tigrayan fighters have carried out several attacks close to Himora. It has been confirmed. We got in touch with some sources who shared this information. They say that more deployments of Ethiopian National Defense Force and Amhara Regional Force in border areas have been seen in recent days, because TDF fighters carried out some attacks close to Himora and small-scale attacks. It's not that TDF has launched a full-scale military offensive on Himora, but from Sudan side of the border, Tigray fighters are carrying out attacks. They come in small units, they carry out attacks and then they flee. Hit and run sort of attacks are being carried out near Himora and near Bericht as well, which is largest Ethiopian settlement on Ethiopia-Sudan border. So I think these attacks are a way of sending a message from Tigray to Ethiopian government that this issue is not resolved. If talks are prolonged, it does not mean that Tigray will keep on waiting. Tigray will carry out a military offensive. It's just a message from Tigray government to Ethiopian federal government, Amhara government. That is how I understand these attacks. And we know that in the previous video I shared information that some wireless communication equipment, mobile communication, wireless sets had been seized by government forces in Himora. It means that Tigray fighters in Sudan, they are trying to coordinate with Tigray sympathizers, TDF fighters in Western Tigray and close to Western Tigray. They are trying to form channels of communication. They are trying to form the supply lines before the start of a major operation, which could happen if there is no breakthrough in the upcoming talks. Meanwhile, we know that Ethiopian government, Eritrean government as well, they are trying to stop the funding, the training, the arming of Tigray fighters on Sudanese soil, and they are in talks with Sudanese government. Some claims are being shared that Sudan has agreed that it will not allow its soil to be used by any armed group, but no confirmation. Tigray fighters are there in Sudan. There are refugees as well. We should not mix up refugees and fighters. The attacks are not being carried out by refugees because there are children, women, elderly in at refugee camps, Tigray refugee camps in Sudan. Thirdly, we have a new story about ongoing hunger strike launched by some Amhara diaspora activists in London. The hunger strike was launched as a protest against killing of Amhara ethnic group members in Ethiopia. We have seen that in Valaga, in 2 attacks, hundreds of ethnic Amharas have been killed, and 3 days ago, some ethnic Amhara Ethiopians went on hunger strike in London. The hunger strike is ongoing. You can see a picture on your screen. A lady can be seen. Her name is Judith Gideon. Judith Gideon is an activist. She is running an NGO. Stop Amhara Genocide is the name of this NGO. She is director of this group, and she is on hunger strike. Day 3 can be seen clearly written there. So a few ladies are there, I think, mostly are activists. They are sending a message, though number is small, but a symbolic message is being sent by Amhara activists to international community that ethnic Amharas are the victims of genocide in Ethiopia, that they are being killed in large number. Fourthly, today Tigrayans held coordinated protests across Europe. 2 days ago, Tigrayans protested, Tigrayan diaspora community protested in front of Italian embassy in Washington. The protest was against financial, diplomatic, political, financial support from Italian government for Ethiopian government. Last month, Italian foreign minister was in Ethiopia, and in his visit he announced a loan of more than 20 million euros, and economic military cooperation between Ethiopia and Italy is on the rise. That is why Tigrayans are protesting. They protested in front of Italian embassy in US, and today in 5 countries of Europe they held demonstrations in front of Italian embassies there. Demonstrations were held in Netherlands, Germany, Belgium, Sweden, France. I have confirmed that at least in these 5 countries there were demonstrations, and some say protests were held in some other European countries too. Protests were held in Israel as well. So it's a coordinated effort by Tigrayans to send a message to Italy that it should not support Ethiopian government. It should reconsider its decision of granting loan to Ethiopian government. Let's see Will Italy change its policy regarding giving loan to Ethiopian government? That remains to be. Watch some clips from today's demonstrations which were held in Europe in front of Italian embassies.
Italia, Italia, cancella, cancella, la legge, Italia, Italia, cancella, cancella, la legge. Dalla parte sbagliata, della storia, del Tigray, Israel to ICC, Israel to ICC, Abi Zakina, Abi Zakina. Justice for women of Tigray. Justice for women of Tigray. Justice for women of Tigray.
Lastly, viewers, we have a clip for you. The clip is from France, Paris. Refugees from Ukraine are being welcomed across Europe. Several countries have established refugee centers where the refugees are being received. This video clip is from a refugee center established in Paris. Some Ethiopian activists reached the place. They visited the place somehow and they are protesting there. They say that refugees from Ukraine are being welcomed with open arms. Other refugees are not being given equal treatment. It's racism. Though it shouldn't be a surprise, because when we covered Russia-Ukraine conflict a few months ago, we showed how preferential treatment was given to Ukrainians who were facilitated to leave Ukraine, but people of other nationalities, especially Africans, they were not given equal treatment. And back then we shared several videos showing African students protesting in Ukraine. Now we're seeing the same in Europe, that Ukrainian refugees are being welcomed with open arms, but other refugees are not being given equal treatment like the treatment being given to Ukrainian refugees. Watch this clip from Paris. Thank you for watching.
Cet endroit a été ouvert il y a peu de temps par Coalia, par d'autres structures, avec l'aide de la préfecture, toutes ces choses-là. Il y a 30 Ukrainiens dedans. Le reste est vide. La question c'est pourquoi. Et on connaît la réponse. C'est le racisme d'État